Welcome back to What's Out There. This is Robinson Edward Daring, and we are still talking with Diana Cox of HBW, or Helping Build Wealth. Now, when last we talked, she was explaining about the power of attorney. So if you could continue on.
Okay. I'm just going to go back real quick. When my brother was ill, I became his power of attorney. And as power of attorney, I was surprised with all the different areas I had to have special paperwork to work with him. I had to have a power of attorney for the bank to be able to do his banking business. I had to have a medical power of attorney in order to make decisions about his health care with the hospital. I had to have a power of attorney with the IRS in order to be able to take care of his tax paperwork. It was quite interesting that there were so many different power of attorneys involved, because I always thought that the power of attorney just allowed me full range of everything. It doesn't.
Also, they can just want to make it as complicated as possible.
Well, it was because it was my brother and it wasn't my immediate husband. So with that, there are certain things that go into place after a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, someone like that is in need of a power of attorney. And it's to protect their assets. It's to make sure that nobody just steps in and runs amok with all their finances. And I can understand that, but it was a shock to me, because every time I went to do something, I found out I was blocked. And he was quite ill, so I had to go back to the hospital and make sure that he was aware of what I was doing and get notarized. That was the other thing. Everything had to be notarized. So with that, if we're not paying attention to the different things that are out there that could block us, valuable time could be wasted, and medical treatment could not be gotten to the person in the right time frame. So we need to be aware of everything that we have to do in order to make sure we take care of our families properly.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. You know, and along that line of thinking, when you think about it, while we've been living in this fantasy world of thinking that credit cards will carry us, to some financial golden times, we're not exactly the healthiest people on the planet either. So at some point in time, we're probably going to need long-term care. It's going to explain a little bit about that.
Long-term care is very interesting, and I actually love long-term care. I don't see as many people out there taking advantage of the opportunities while they're young to get a plan in place, but I have helped older people, and I have seen how well those plans take care of those people. Long-term care offers the opportunity for a person to be able to live in a comfortable lifestyle should something happen that they have to be put into an assisted living home, put into an independent living home, put into a nursing home, or have to have health care assistance. Independent living is a wonderful place to be. It allows a person to have the freedoms of coming and going. Meals in most places are made for them, and they have community time with the other people in the facilities. Assisted living, it's similar to the independent living. They do have more medical staff available, because this particular person in assisted living may have a few more medical needs. And with that, of course, it's going to cost a little more. When you go into a nursing home, quite possibly, you could find something a little less. But independent is a good one. Assisted living is a nice place to be. Nursing home. Nursing home, if you get to the point where you have to have a nursing home, please be diligent and look at all the nursing home facilities and make sure that if you have to put a loved one in one, that it's one that's close enough that you would be able to visit them and spend some time with them, because it's a very lonely place, and nursing homes are also expensive. With that being said, any area that we're going to go into as we get older and we have to have additional care is going to cost money. And if you don't have the money put aside in a long-term care program, it's going to have to come out of your savings. You're going to have to sell your homes. A lot of things are going to come into play in order to be able to pay for those things. So you want to look at the best opportunities available while you're younger and you can still afford it, so that you can get this taken care of. Young people, if you have an older parent who you might think may be a candidate for one of these nursing homes, independent living, assisted living, y'all might want to get together as brothers and sisters and pull together and get a plan for your family members, so that you can make sure that they're taken care of properly, and you don't have to rely on a stranger, somebody else coming in to look on them here and there, maybe not getting the right medications, maybe not having the best of care. You want to make sure that your family members are taken care of.
Wow, and I guess that also segues back to what you were saying before about power of attorney, so that if that day should come, you will be able to do it and not, run into like red tape or, a closed door because you're not authorized to do it. I guess it'd be easier if your power of attorney is with a direct family member down there, but
it normally is. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes the power of attorney may be with somebody else because family members live so far away. Our families today aren't living in the small, close-knit communities that they did back in the 50s, 60s, 40s. Our families are spread across the nation, and some families are spread across the continent. And with that, we want to look at the dynamics of who is the person to best take care of that person should a power of attorney be needed. And that's something that families should get together and decide on in an early time frame rather than waiting till somebody may start losing their mental capacity. You need to work on that together.
Yes, definitely. Now, our time is unfortunately coming to an end, and I know there's so much more that people would probably like to know. But before we go, are there any simple tips that people can do right now to stretch their dollars, especially since the economy still hasn't come around? And I'm thinking specifically referring to a certain time of the year, namely tax time.
Absolutely. One of the things that I recommend to people, and I hope that they listen, is we normally get a tax refund. Many people do. It might be a lot, it might be a little. But if you really want to start doing something that's productive for your life, take a portion of that tax fund and put it into an IRA, some sort of vehicle to start to invest for your future. What I find is that we're so willing to allow the government to take our money and use it in so many different ways, but we're not willing to take that same money and put it into an account for ourselves so that we can be able to use that money for our retirement. The reality is that a person's not going to be able to depend on Social Security. A person can only depend on themselves to make sure that they have a retirement.
Wow. It's the words to live by. Can't count on Social Security, so you can only count on yourself. All right, and as I said, unfortunately, that is about all the time we have for today, and I know there's probably going to be a lot of people with a lot of questions. And I will say that Diana will be back in a future episode, so we will be able to talk to her some more. Now, if you can't wait, or you have questions, or you would like to talk to Diana about your financial goals, she is the Senior Agency Manager and a National Recruiter for HBW, or Helping Build Wealth. The phone number you can call her at is 803-776-1153. Her email is helpingbuildwealth, that's one word, helpingbuildwealth@hotmail.com. Or you can try her at Diana Cox, that's all one word again, Diana Cox @live.com. So I want to thank Diana for coming in and joining us and taking time out from her busy schedule, and for giving us this valuable financial information. And I also want to tell our listeners that we will be back, again next time. So please make plans to join us for what's out there. And for producer Rob Francis and myself, I am Robinson Edward Deming. And we'll see you next time.